Since the AI launched, there is just one main argument against AI. And what's that? It does not actually think. Or in other words, we can say that it's just predicting the next word. Or if I'll speak in most simpler words, it does not reason like humans do. And honestly, that argument used to be valid. Did you heard me? I said used to be because after spending time with GPT 5.2, everyone will say the same thing. Why so? Because something feels different. Not smarter, not faster, but completely different. And what's that? It's closer to thinking. So today we are going to break the norms. We are not asking if GPT 5.2 is intelligent or not. We are asking a much more uncomfortable question. And what's that question? Is this the first AI model that actually think? Okay, so before we move ahead, I welcome you all in a brand new video where once again we are going to discuss about another AI invention. I know that sounds weird when we say that if a tool or a software can think. So before we jump into it, let's see what do we even mean by thinking. Like when we human think, we don't just respond, we act. Like if we do have a problem, we start thinking that how to solve that problem in different steps. And we start planning ahead, we change our mind, we notice something is not working, we change our strategy. This is how humans think. So we can say thinking is deliberation over time, not just an instant reaction because it requires some kind of creativity, some kind of thought process. Older AI models did not do that. They were just amazing at giving instant reactions or responding immediately. That is not a thinking. But they are terrible at planning or holding a long-term goals. But something really shocking happened, and what's that? GPT 5.2 is starting to blur that line. We don't go with that line that okay, software, our AI, our tools cannot think. So let's see what's different about GPT 5.2. So there are actually three behaviors that are different in GPT 5.2 that's making them stand it out immediately. So let's see one by one. First of all, if we will talk about its multi-step reasoning without hand-holding. When I say hand-holding, what does I meant by that? So basically, you must have heard about the prompts or mastering the prompts whenever it comes to AI. Because previous model always needed a chain of thought prompts or you really need to give them extremely detailed instruction to get an answer that you desire. But GPT 5.2 does not need all this. It internally organizes problem and decide what matters. And that's the whole story because if it actually organized what's the problem and it already decided and decode the pathway, then it don't needs to be micromanaged. And that is the biggest shift of GPT 5.2. Because without prompting, without micromanaging, it's just like a human thinking, where it don't need human input continuously. This is really shocking at very first behavior, but it does not end there because we have already talked about that we have three kind of behaviors. So what next? Second is the long horizon planning. GPT 5.2 can handle projects that can be handled in days or weeks. And how it can be handled, it's just not like that on one day you are going to have all of your project. It's going to be adjustment in the process, just like the human do. Like we start a project and whenever we see that okay, this is going wrong and we change this strategically. Earlier on, this is something that AI can never do, or we will say that AI was terrible in it. But it's no longer just complete the task for AI. Now AI can optimize it towards the goal. Last but not the least is the self-correction. And what is meant by that? With the previous models, whenever there was a mistake, human needs to figure that out. Okay, this is not going wrong. And once again, you give instruction to AI and it start working according to your instruction. But when GPT 5.2 make a mistake, it often notice that okay, I am doing that wrong. Maybe some kind of signal, Then it revises the assumptions and try the alternative approaches until it's being corrected. If we will talk about the older models, they always collapsed when such situation happens. But this one recovers. This is not just intelligence, it's just the reasoning under uncertainty. And when this happens, it's definitely equal to thinking because this software is doing all the things that our humans usually do. Now let's have a comparison of human thinking with GPT 5.2. But before even we do that comparison, let's be very clear. Despite from all these facts, GPT 5.2 is not conscious. It does not have emotions just like the human do. It does not understand the word the way human do. But still, there are something where we can compare humans and GPT. The first thing that makes humans stand out is creativity because we know humans are really very creative. But in comparison, GPT 5.2 is a structured model. Humans are emotional while GPT 5.2 don't have any emotion. Humans are flexible with their work, task, thinking, while a tool is just a systematic tool where that depends upon the commands, certain kind of input. Lastly, humans are inconsistent, but tools are shockingly stable because it's just not like a living thing. It depends upon command once again. So what we can conclude with that comparison? We can see that human can make certain kind of steps after some time, after some thinking, but GPT 5.2 explore possibilities immediately. I know these both things are different, but for the very first time, these are increasingly overlapping. And that overlap is what new in the AI world because it never happened earlier on with any AI model. So now let's have a look at why this matter more than we think. And why we are asking this because earlier on there are certain AI models, certain AI launches were there. So why we were just talking about this? We are talking about this because this is not about chatbots getting better. This is about autonomous AI agent that is finally becoming reliable because earlier on we can't completely rely on that, but now we can. Why? Because if AI can reason, plan, self-correct and maintain long-term goals, then it can work without human supervision. And if it can work without human supervision, you can think where it's going. It ultimately changed research process, coding, business operation, content creation, automation, or we can say anything that can be handled by humans right now. The role of human shifts from doing the work to directing the work. But what changes? That now you don't need plenty of peoples. One person plus AI becomes an entire team. It replaces a lot of people at once. So with all that facts and discussion, question is still there. Does it actually think? In my opinion, if we will talk about philosophically, probably not. But functionally, it might as well be thinking. Why? Because the distinction is starting to matter less. If someone behaves like it think, plan like it think, and correct itself like it think, so it might ends up in thinking. And you know what's the scary part? It's not that the moment AI start thinking. The scary part is that it's all happening quietly. We don't know about it. There is no announcement, no countdown, no dramatic breakthrough. Just one model behaving a little more like a mind than a machine. But it's all happened in background. And whenever it came into the market, we all are in huge panic because it's going to replace us. And GPT 5.2 might be the first time we have crossed that line. So now tell me, what do you think? Is this just a same prediction pattern or we are watching the early stage of something bigger? Let me know in the comment section, and if you like today's video, don't forget to subscribe my channel and click the bell icon because I'll be back with another new AI update very soon. Till the time, bye bye.